Hello dear listeners, International Radio presents. Aida Mamadova is with you in the studio. Armenia continues to arm itself. After its army was defeated in the Patriotic War and its air defense systems were destroyed, Armenia has now started acquiring S-300 surface-to-air missile systems. Interestingly, Yerevan is purchasing the S-300 not from Russia, the manufacturer, but from Greece. Greek media reported this information. The official reaction from Moscow came swiftly. Russian Foreign Minister spokeswoman Maria Zakharova addressed the media during a traditional briefing, commenting on report that Athens plans to supply Armenia with Russia's S-300 systems and 2 additional weapon systems. Zakharova confirmed that she was familiar with news and reminded that the agreements on military technical cooperation dated October 30, 1995, and a supply of military products dated December 3, 2013 require strict adherence. These agreements unequally prohibit Greece from re-exporting military equipment provided by Russia without our consent. However, we haven't received an official communication from Athens on this matter, said the Russian Foreign Ministry representative. It should be noted that Armenia has been rapidly rearming recently. The rearmament of defeated countries suggests 13 plans. The goal is to secure Western interests in the region through Armenia. Countries supporting Armenia use the method to bring it into their spheres of influence. This is natural, as Armenia has never been an independent state and hasn't pursued an independent foreign policy. In a statement to the press, retired colonel of the Azerbaijani Armed Forces, Shair Ramaldanov, highlighted several reasons why Armenia seeks to acquire the surface-to-air missile system. The most important reason is the destruction of Armenia's air defense systems during Azerbaijan's 44 Patriotic War. Armenia's extensive armament doesn't bode well for the region. This shouldn't only concern Azerbaijan, but also neighboring countries, and certain measures should be taken in response. It is worth recalling that on November 8, during the opening of the Victory Park in Baku, President Ilham Aliyev congratulated the Azerbaijani people on the occasion of the holiday and said, I believe the results of the Second Karabakh War and the anti-terrorist operation are sufficient for Armenia to take the right steps today. However, there is one issue we mustn't forget. Today, anti-Azerbaijan forces, some Islamophobes, and Azerbaijan phobies sitting in certain Western capitals are encouraging Armenia to start a nuke war. This could be a complete disaster for the Armenian state, and I have repeatedly tried to explain to them, both in official statements and during contacts, to avoid this provocation. Some Western countries, which consider themselves friends of Armenia, are ready to sacrifice it to achieve their own interest, to stir up trouble in the South Caucasus, cause bloodshed, and fish in troubled waters. It's not too late yet, and therefore Armenia must abandon this policy of rearmament. It must stop, and I've said this many times, and they know that they must pay attention to my words. It is still not too late. They should give it up, and they will never be able to compete with us. Undoubtedly, these words should be seen as the last chance for Armenia to draw conclusions and think carefully. The establishment of Qarabağ University has been described as a significant milestone in the history of Azerbaijan's national statehood and scientific development. Reports highlight that in the 4 years following Azerbaijan's historic victory, extensive reconstruction and development efforts have been undertaken to rebuild the liberated territories of Karabakh and eastern Zangazur, ensuring sustainable development and an improved quality of life in these regions. In this context, the presidential decree issued on November 28, 2023 to establish Qarabağ University is viewed as a decision of particular historical importance. Observers have noted its symbolic value, as it coincides with the 15th anniversary of the establishment of a branch of the Azerbaijan State Pedagogical Institute in Hankendi on November 28, 1973. At the time, this initiative by the late national leader Heydar Aliyev aimed to promote access to higher education for residents of the Karabakh and Eastern Zangazur regions and to address the demand for qualified teachers in local schools. It was noted, however, that the closure of the Hankendi Pedagogical Institute on October 16 in 1988 due to Armenian provocations and separatist actions marked a tragic period in the region's history. Armenian separatists reportedly engaged in genocide and ethnic cleansing against Azerbaijanis in Karabakh, culminating in the expulsion of the Azerbaijani academic staff and students from the institute. Commentators have described this event as a critical element of the ethnic cleansing campaign carried out against Azerbaijanis. 50 years later, the decree issued by President Ilham Aliyev on November 28, 2023 has been widely interpreted as a restoration of historical justice. Analysts have pointed out that the establishment of Karabakh University not only rectifies historical injustices, but also provides local youth with opportunities to pursue higher education and contribute to the socio-economic revitalization of the region. During a meeting with students at Karabakh University in Hankendi on September 20th, President Aliyev reportedly emphasized the institution's historical significance. He remarked on its rapid establishment following the decree, stating that significant efforts had been made to rebuild and renovate the university building, which had originally been constructed by Azerbaijani architects during the Soviet era. According to the president, the university's infrastructure had undergone extensive transformation, including the removal of Armenian markers added during the occupation, and the development of a master plan for future expansion, and the creation of modern educational facilities and dormitories. President Aliyev was quoted as saying that 1,200 students had enrolled at the university, representing various regions of the country, and noted with pride that many of them had achieved high admission scores, including over 600 points. He expressed his hope that Karabakh University would soon rank among the leading institutions of higher education in Azerbaijan. The university was officially inaugurated on September 20th, designated as a Day of State Sovereignty, and has been characterized as a landmark event rather than a routine institutional opening. Commentators observed that President Aliyev, but previously led the military front to victory, now addressed the ideological front, offering guidance to students and underscoring the importance of education in shaping Azerbaijan's future. It was reported that 1,104 students were admitted to the university's bachelor programs for the 224 and 225th academic years. On the occasion of the university's first anniversary, celebrated recently, a concert and exhibition program was organized by the Faculty of Arts. The rector of Karabakh University, Shahin Bayramov, welcomed attendees and highlighted the institution's achievements within its inaugural year. He emphasized that Karabakh University already established itself as an integral part of Azerbaijan's education system and would significantly contribute to the socio-economic development of the Karabakh region, particularly in education and culture. Minister of Science and Education Emin Amrullayev reportedly acknowledged the university's rapid progress and its growing importance in education, science, and innovation. He expressed confidence that Karabakh University would become a leading institution not only in Karabakh and Azerbaijan, but also internationally. Hydroelectric power stations in Karabakh and Eastern Zangazur put into operation. Today, hydroelectric power stations account for 14.6% of the total installed capacity of the energy system in our country. The ongoing energy transition period requires the increase in the number of renewable energy stations, including hydropower plants. As it is known, 25% of the country's local water resources are found in Karabakh and Eastern Zangazur. This provides vast opportunities for the construction and operation of hydroelectric power stations in these economic regions. It is no coincidence that this issue is also reflected in the decree of President Ilham Aliyev, signed several months ago, approving the National Strategy for Efficient Use of Water Resources. The document states, the use of the water resources potential of the Karabakh and Eastern Zangazur economic regions, along with the hydroenergy potential, will be ensured through the application of smart water systems. The construction of 28 hydropower stations will be completed, and a compact energy station will be created, taking into account the hydroelectric potential of surface waters and the possibilities of water management facilities. In total, 32 hydroelectric power stations with a total capacity of 270 MW have been commissioned in Karabakh and Eastern Zangazur, producing 492 million kilowatt-hours of zero-emission electricity. As a result, 110 million cubic meters of natural gas have been saved, and 200,000 tons of carbon emissions have been prevented from being released into the atmosphere. On June 26, 2012, the Kalbajar 1 small hydroelectric power station was put into operation after reconstruction at the first production facility in the region. In addition to Kalbajar 1, 5 other small hydroelectric stations, Çırak 1, Çırak 2, Kamışlı, Soyukbulak, and Meydan, were launched within the participation of President İlham Aliyev. It is worth noting that these 6 small hydroelectric power stations have produced over 70 million kilowatt-hours of environmentally friendly green energy. Additionally, the following hydroelectric power stations are planned to be commissioned in the region this year: Zar, Nadirxanlı, Aşağı Venk, and Yuxarı Venk. The Zangilan hydroelectric power stations consist of 4 energy facilities: Sarıqışlaq, Şayıflı, Zangilan, and Cahangirбeyli. To supply the stations with water, a headwater intake structure was built at an altitude of 600 meters above sea level. As a result of President İlham Aliyev's firm stance on the region being a green energy zone, for the first time in the history of the country's energy system, the Karabakh and Eastern Zangazur regions have become a zero-carbon emission region throughout all seasons of the year, thanks to the existing hydroelectric stations.